Hello everyone and welcome to the next video. I'm Louise Rollison and today we're diving into the fascinating world of cognitive biases, the hidden influences that subtly shape our everyday choices and judgments. From the moment we wake up, we make thousands of decisions, some major like choosing a new employee or finalizing a marketing strategy, choosing the best supplier, and others less so, like deciding what to have for dinner or how many paper clips to order. Often we feel these decisions are based on rational thinking, available data, and advice from others. But here's the real question: are we truly making the best possible choices? As it turns out, our decisions are frequently influenced by biases, unconscious mental shortcuts that push us towards certain choices without us even realizing it. Biases aren't inherently negative. They're often deeply rooted in our psychology, helping us to navigate the world quickly. But in certain cases, they can lead us off course, affecting the quality of our decisions. Let's start with one of the most common and influential biases: confirmation bias. This occurs when we favor information that supports our existing beliefs while ignoring evidence that contradicts them. Imagine you're convinced that a particular sales approach is the best. Every time you see it work, it feels like confirmation of your belief. But what about the times it doesn't work? Those instances might just slip through the cracks, overlooked or explained away. This selective focus strengthens our original belief, even if it's only partially true. We've all encountered someone who's utterly convinced they're right and unwilling to consider alternative perspectives, which can be frustrating. That's the power of confirmation bias. It keeps us stuck in our own bubble of beliefs. Another powerful bias is known as the sunk cost fallacy. This bias kicks in when we feel compelled to continue investing in something simply because we've already put in a lot of time, money, or energy. For example, imagine you've hired someone who isn't quite fitting into the role, but you've spent months training and mentoring them. The sunk cost fallacy makes it hard to make the tough call and let them go, even if keeping them on might be more costly in the long run. Then we have the biases that shape our perception of others. For example, the halo effect and the horns effect influence how we judge people based on one prominent characteristic. A positive trait, like being punctual, can lead us to view someone as highly competent overall. On the other hand, a negative trait can colour our perception negatively, even if it has nothing to do with their actual abilities. Research shows we often perceive attractive or tall individuals as more capable, while we may unfairly underestimate those with traits that don't fit our mental image of success. While intuition has its place in decision making, it's not always reliable, which is why many of us turn to data to guide us. However, data alone doesn't make us immune to biases. Take sample size neglect as an example. Imagine you run a customer satisfaction survey and 70% of respondents report that your service feels too slow. It's tempting to make a big change based on that, but what if only a small fraction of your clients responded? That 70% might only represent 12% of your customer base, which may not be enough to generalize. This is where sample size neglect leads us to overvalue small data sets, leading to decisions based on incomplete information. Availability bias is another common trap that can distort our judgment. After hearing about a plane crash, for instance, we might suddenly feel uneasy about flying, even though statistically flying is safer than driving. Because vivid recent events stick in our minds, we often overestimate the chances of them happening again. This type of bias can influence everything from risk assessments to planning, causing us to base our choices on what's most memorable instead of what's statistically likely. And let's not forget about the planning fallacy. This is our tendency to underestimate the time and effort required for tasks. Whether it's planning a project or simply commuting to work, we often base our expectations on best case scenarios. If you believe your drive to work takes only 15 minutes, that might be true on a perfect day, but most days involve a few minor hold-ups. This tendency to plan optimistically without factoring in delays often leads to missed deadlines and rushed decisions. These are just a few examples of how biases can creep into our daily decision making, but recognizing that biases are at play is the first step in overcoming them. The next essential step is awareness. Just understanding that biases like the halo effect exist can help us question our initial impressions and make more objective choices. For instance, if you're interviewing someone and feel an immediate connection, pause and ask yourself, am I favouring this candidate based on one positive trait, or am I assessing them holistically? Reducing bias, though, isn't always comfortable. It can feel unsettling to question our instincts. But this discomfort is part of the growth process. Learning to recognize and counteract biases challenges us to see beyond our usual patterns, opening us to new possibilities and perspectives. Another important skill in tackling bias is curiosity. Great leaders are genuinely curious, constantly seeking out different opinions and new perspectives. Studies have shown that diversity of thought improves decision making, and it's clear why. Be actively engaging with a range of viewpoints. We expand our understanding and reduce the chance of falling into cognitive traps. This doesn't mean flip-flopping on decisions, but it does mean being open to re-evaluating when presented with new insights. Curiosity also encourages us to slow down. If you're used to making quick, gut-based decisions, actively seeking out new perspectives might feel uncomfortable at first. But true curiosity isn't just about asking for input. It's about being open to changing your mind if the evidence points in a new direction. Finally, the third key to minimizing bias is evidence-based decision-making. Data is invaluable, but we must interpret it carefully and thoughtfully. In hiring, for example, some organizations blind resumes by removing identifying details such as name and age to minimize unconscious biases. Studies show that this approach leads to fairer, more diverse hiring choices, both of which contribute to stronger decision-making overall. Can we eliminate bias completely? Realistically, no. Bias is part of our human nature, and our minds rely on it as a tool for processing information efficiently. But in a complex and competitive world, leaders who commit to reducing bias are better equipped to make balanced, informed, and inclusive decisions. Today we've touched on several cognitive biases and explored how they impact our thinking. By focusing on awareness, curiosity, and evidence, you're already on the path to better decision making. Simply acknowledging the role of bias is the first critical step. With practice, you can improve your judgment, make clearer decisions, and lead with more insight. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this interesting. Please subscribe, click like, share, and write comments below. Remember to download your free transcript and follow the words while you listen to me. Remember that English might be your passport to a promotion. Stay motivated. Bye for now, and see you in the next video.